I'll just do a jhalak of that, and we'll see the rest in the online session. The reason I want to cover just a bit now is because then you'll be motivated to listen to the online sessions. Otherwise, online sessions, I don't know what you do. Emotions and motivations. This is a beautiful topic, especially for me, because I have gone through this Sanskrit during my MA studies, study of Bharata Muni's Rasa Shastra, theory of rasa, and emotions so perfectly fit that theory. Just amazing to see how much Western psychologists and Eastern psychologists, or whatever, drama, this is not even anything, drama, they are full of all these emotions, right? So it just works. They have done such a beautiful analysis that I saw some of that analysis even in Western psychology. So what is affect? It's the experience of the feeling of experience of a feeling that happens, or an emotion. Okay. Two fundamental components of affect are emotions and motivations. There are two subjects: emotions and motivations. We'll see what they are. Why are they clubbed together? That is, they involve arousal. They drive us to do something, or to react, or experiences of bodily responses created by sympathetic division of autonomic nervous system, because there is arousal. Any emotion is an arousal, and any emotion is handled by sympathetic nervous system. See, that's why we talk about eustress and distress. So emotion to a certain level is a good stress. Without emotion, what are you? Life is just nothing, right? So there is stress is not always bad. Stress is like a challenge, good challenge to have. So emotion is basically an arousal. It causes an arousal in us. So an emotion is a mental and physiological feeling state that directs our attention and guides our behavior. So our behavior is guided by our emotions. Otherwise, why are we interested in doing anything if we have had no emotion towards anything? So that is what how important an emotion is. That's why Raghuramji says this very beautifully. He says, we are not intellectual beings, we are emotional beings. And intellect comes later, like a child, baby, when born. First thing the baby knows is smile. So it's the happiness, it is that emotion of love, bondage. So it feels before it thinks, the baby. So we are born bundle of emotions. Very nicely. His subject on emotions and bhakti is just awesome. You have to listen to that. So an emotion, basic emotions are again handled. Now we'll see the physiology of emotions. Okay, there is limbic system within us, which is the old brain, and there is the new brain, which is the cortex, right? Cortex and limbic system. So old brain is about survival. It's about finding food. It's the basic stuff. Okay, there is a fast pathway. There is a slow pathway to this emotional handling. Fast pathway is, I just touched a hot rod, I have to pull it out. Or that's actually not true. That's reflex pathway, sorry. Let's say I saw a lion. I have to immediately react to it. I cannot just wait and see the lion and then think, what shall I do? Should I be scared? Maybe not. Life is just temporary anyway. How does it matter? You can't do that. So there is a fast path. But I just saw somebody being successful and I wanted to be there. I couldn't get there, but this other person has gotten there. Then I'm jealous. That is an emotion that I can process slowly and say, hey, why are you jealous? Maybe you want to think how you want to respond. Maybe I can just go and mess up with her and things like that. Or, we still have some complexities involved. Although I may be a very impulsive person, yet it's not as fast as I see a lion and I run. It still is, I think and I act. However emotional a person, impulsive a person is. Yet it's a slow pathway. It's a complex pathway. That is the difference between the limbic system acting on these emotions and the cortex acting on these emotions. They are called secondary emotions. They are handled by the cortex. Primary emotions like drive, fear is a one classic example I can think of. And then comes the slow and fast pathway for emotions. Like we said, a car suddenly pulls in front of us. What happens then? Thalamus suddenly activates, sends a message to amygdala, which is the fear center. Remember? Amygdala is the fear center. Then that amygdala quickly sends a message to the motor neurons saying, hey, pull the foot off the pedal and off the gas and into the brake pedal. That happens without your knowledge. It just happens so quickly. You don't have time to think about it, right? You don't say, wait, so what should I do now? No.
It's a reflex action?
It's not a reflex action. That's why I took back my sentence on, touching the hot surface. That's where the spinal cord reflex action is even more faster than the limbic action. Yeah. So slow pathway, complex processing. We just talked about jealousy. Their frontal lobes of the brain, they take action. Cognitive analysis and integration happens before the response comes from the amygdala. Okay. Emotions can be compared to navarasas. Emotions especially such as love, humor, they call it shringara, hasya, bhaya, bhibhatsa, various such, veera, and what else? Many sadness, shoka, various emotions that we talk about. In case of Bharata Muni's explanation, they are actually called more of a sentiment. There are emotions too. There is sentiment and there is Sthayi Bhava, which are emotions. He does a beautiful analysis of sentiment and emotion. Shringara is sentiment, and prema, for example, can be I don't know the word for that is used, hasya, and similar word will be there for bhava. So there is a sentiment and there is an emoting the sentiment. Very beautifully analyzed in Navarasa. I can share that article. I've collected some good articles on that and you can read that. So Shringara, Hasya, Karuna, Raudra, all this, anger, Veera, that is heroism, courage, that is motivation to actually stand for yourself, is there. Bhayanaka, that is bhaya, terror, fear. Bibhatsa, disgust. And some horror movies are so disgusting you just cannot take that. So that is Bibhatsa. And Adbhuta, then you're surprised, wonder, that is also an emotion. It's a sentiment. Shanta is peace and tranquility. Okay. Motivations. They are closely related to emotions. A motivation is a driving force that initiates and directs the behavior. They are rewarding, that's why you like to do them. They make you feel good. For example, motivation for the basic motivations, however, they are biological motivations, which are not necessarily a choice kind of motivations. They are there, they drive us. For food, water, sex, these are all basic biological motivations. Of course, they make us feel good, but they are more necessary. Then there are social motivations, such as we seeking social company, social approvals, acceptance from the people, to go and achieve something, to go and even take risks, or sometimes the motivation to avoid the risk is also there. So all these are motivations. When these emotions, we know how to handle these emotions. How do we know how to handle these emotions? There is conditioning, operant conditioning, or conditioning within us, right? As to how and what drives us. Maybe rewards drive us, maybe necessity drives us, something drives us to go for, to respond in a certain way. Each one of us is different, or gunas, or doshas, they all drive us to respond or react to these emotions within. Emotions are there within us. but we also have motivation. So together we just know how to manage the emotions. But when the emotions cannot be managed, right, that is when, especially when the negative emotions, when we have these negative emotions that we don't know how to manage, then we get into stress. This is purely Western psychology I'm talking from the book. So you can read the text, which also is pretty much credited to the book, Psych 101, and also Stanger Psych 101. I put it in that manual, only the portions that sort of, it's like summary of it I have placed. Read that, and then you can always read the entire thing, which is also easy to read. It's also another 6th grade level kind of writing. Very beautiful book, so go ahead and read that. Affect and health. The study of interface between affect and physical health. That everything that is physiological is also psychological. Mind and body are connected totally. That is the key focus of health psychology, which is one of the fastest growing fields of psychology now, which was not the case just some 100 years ago, right? Freud's time, or even before. Fundamental emotions are anger, disgust, fear, happiness, sadness, and surprise. Here, the oldest part of the brain, the limbic system, we talked about this, primarily evolutionarily determined, right? Basic emotions are experienced and displayed in much the same way across cultures, because it's basic survival stuff. We can judge facial expressions of people from different cultures, right? Everybody laughs when they are happy, no matter what their culture is. So that kind of stuff. Secondary emotions, they are complex. So depending on your conditioning, then you define, you handle differently. For example, if a woman is supposed to behave in a certain way and she doesn't, or she doesn't want to, then she will have some guilt inside. Although she might be a daredevil, yet she will be, okay, what am I doing now? Whereas in Western cultures, maybe it's just taken for granted. Okay, I'm supposed to revolt to these things, and I don't even feel guilty. So that kind of complexity exists in secondary, when you're processing secondary emotions. Response to stress. This next few things that I'll be going through. What is the time? Stop me when it is exactly 12. If it is, I'll stop. Okay, I'll stop. Because the next things we'll do in our Wednesday class. Very beautiful analysis of stress and also analysis of happiness, not by Indian yogic thing, which we all have some knowledge of, but the Western analysis of happiness. And maybe we'll bring some Indian analysis, Ananda Mimamsa also to some extent.